there's a lot more nitpicky stuff that I've gone over preparing for this. And actually, we may have some time. We do have some time. We've got plenty of time. If anybody has nitpicky stuff that I could address from my analysis and study, I'll get to that in a minute. Let me go through my spiel. Whether my opinions will help change the quality of the Equestria Girls film franchise, in your opinion at all, I hope at the very least that I made you laugh, I entertained you, and I made you think just a little bit deeper, more deeply about the stories that our favorite franchise can tell us, whether it's wrapped in the package of pastel-colored ponies or awkwardly tinted teenagers alike. Love and friendship reads. So yeah, yes, I'm well ahead of schedule. Cool. So yeah, like I said, I try to keep a lot of the nitpicky stuff out, but the idea of fridge logic and fridge brilliance, things that only make sense after you've dwelled about them for a while when the movie's over, I live for those things, and I really enjoyed kind of picking apart a lot of nitpicks about it. So if anybody's got something they want to address, I can see if I can maybe answer it. Yeah?
Now this might just be my own bad memory and stuff like that talking, but how did Sunset Shimmer know that the element of magic was even around?
That's an interesting point.
Because remember, it wasn't even until like Nightmare Moon appeared again.
Right.
I mean,
there's, excuse me, it's implied that she has some way of monitoring the situation going on back in Equestria. One of the things that bothers me a lot is there's no consistent timeline in Equestria proper. We're given the whole thing about the mirror opens once every 30 moons. The thing is, though, we're never given a clear opportunity about how time actually flows in Equestria compared to the human world either. It's clearly not exactly Earth that they're going to as well. 30 moons, when you consider that every single nighttime frame uses a full moon in the shot, 30 moons can either be the roughly equivalent of 30 months, 2.5 years, or every 30 days. If it's every 30 days, she's got more than enough opportunity to kind of peek back and see what's going on. Plus the idea of Twilight rediscovering the elements of harmony made a big deal. I mean, there was a parade in Ponyville in episode 2, and Princess Luna's back, that sort of thing. It's never explicitly said, but I don't think it's explicitly needed. Because if you look at also her planning, clearly she had enough foresight to design that year's fake tiara crown around Twilight's actual element of magic design. So clearly she had some foresight to get back and forth. It's just not explicitly stated. And anybody else got something that's been bothering them? Yes?
Going back to when you were analyzing Fluttershy,
Yes.
do you think that her element should actually be willpower because she's gotten over so many things and still been willing to help her friends?
Fluttershy is very much an iron bully. She is a character that is so full of raw determination, yet you cannot help but want to hug her at every turn.
Yes.
I always love the reaction of bronies in general whenever there's a situation that makes Fluttershy break into tears. It's like, no, must destroy this thing. It's like they'll become Asura from the game Asura's Wrath. Like, I don't know how to help her, I just don't want to punch the thing that's making her I think that resilience does come from her being naturally kind-hearted. I think that flows out from kindness. The idea that she's willing to be patient and endure to help the people that she cares about a lot more. Personally, though, I think she's kind of made of iron because I love throughout the course of the first film, the running joke seems to be her getting hit with stuff. First the crown, and then the broom, and then the crown again at the end. I actually would love to see that gag worked in more often over the series. Let's throw stuff at Fluttershy.
You horrible man.
Yes.
Wait, does that mean you're going to punch yourself?
Yes, I am. As soon as the camera stops rolling. Anything else nitpicky about Equestria Girls?
I was wondering, why did they have to put in the welcome sprinkle?
It's a good stock sound effect.
But still, why?
It's a good stock sound effect, that's it.
Because they can.
Because they can.
Sound effect, it's also very cliche and overused, and therefore funny.
Ow!
That's true. You got me there.
You got one?
Why are her legs so long?
I actually know the answer to those.
Wait.
Most of the character design choices that they make were to better reflect the shape and design of the doll line that's coming out. And they're very leggy. They're very leggy figurines. That's about it.
When you're doing toy making, when you're making the molds, it's actually easier to have a long leg like that because it makes it easier to make the boots and the shoes that go on the feet. The longer you make the legs, the easier it is to make the tubes and the molds.
This was kind of cool, actually, talking about character design. One of the things I've seen bothered a lot of people, and bothered me for a while, were Rainbow Dash's really, really ridiculous high tops. I found out by accident when I was at ZenkaiCon in Lancaster, Pennsylvania earlier this year. There was a girl walking down the street with those shoes. They actually exist. They are a form of Converse that go up to the knees.
Yeah.
So it's not just a weird design choice to keep her consistent with all the boots. They really do exist. I thought that was kind of funny. Yeah.
Something that's always got me a little confused was the time length that the portal's open for.
It's hard to really determine because, again, it can either mean 2.5 years or every 30 days.
No, I'm talking about that. I'm talking about how long is it open for? Like when
the
it
3
starts,
days.
Is it 3 days? Exactly.
3 days.
3 days.
3 days in the uniform.
But the thing is, we're not really told, when the future movies come up and we see the Sirens who were banished more than a millennia ago from Equestria and they're still looking like teenage girls. I'm not sure if they've ever justified some kind of weird Narnia time between Equestria and the human world. Mostly because there's no changing of seasons, also to acknowledge Rainbow Rocks when it happens. We don't know how much time has passed between the end of Equestria Girls and the beginning of the next film, and so on and so forth. It's supposedly said it's fall, but how early in, we don't know. And there's nothing to really delineate how much differently time passes between the two worlds to really get a fix on exactly what each thing means. Yeah.
Actually, I don't want to do any spoilers here for the second movie. Nobody's seen it. But if you watch the beginning of the second one, you'll see that rainbow.
Yeah.
That was from when they attacked. They hit sunset.
Yeah, at the very beginning. So it's pretty much, well, what I mean to say is the Sirens being the same teenage girl they were banished over 1,000 years ago.
True.
It
It could be
how much does 1,000 years mean in the question?
Because it could be because like they get their power from.
There's a lot of stuff that you can read into. I'm just saying it's not explicitly said. So any theory is valid in that regard. You're talking.
Never mind.
You okay?
I realize it was totally out of context question.
Oh, go for it.
Well, I was just thinking, like, how would aliens even work in this world? Because we
Yeah.
have seen Celestia still looking like a 30-year-old woman.
This is where a lot of the good fridge horror, the good horrifying fix can come into play. The idea that Twilight's going to outlive all of her friends, that sort of thing. And we don't know. We don't know. The thing about 1,000 years is it's a wonderfully utilized number. 1,000 years is a good thing to delineate a very long passage of time, and it's also just a good one for prophecies to come back. We see it in everything from role-playing games to other fantasy fiction. 1,000 is just a good solid number to use. Whether or not anyone really dwells on the implications of that number is another thing entirely. Yes, sir. To my left. So you in the blue, the black shirt, the non Thunder Pony shirt.
Why are Snips and Snails the go-to servants for villains?
I did say there was something of Trixie in Sunset Shimmer. Maybe they just like dominant women.
Oh my god!
Go for fanfic writers! A whole exciting shipping opportunity awaits you. In the hat, yes.
One thing that kind of just subconsciously bothers me is like I wonder where does Sunset Shimmer go after school?
This comes down to an important storytelling trope called the rule of perception, rule of detail. The idea is because it's a 75-minute long feature film, there's no opportunity to really visit things that don't have any direct impact on the progression of the plot or the progression of the relationships involved. Basically, we don't know what Sunset Shimmer's situation is because we don't need to know in order for the story to keep going. There's a lot that you can look into by adding elements of reality into the situation, but if you add too much reality, we don't have a movie.
This is fun to think about.
It is fun to think about. Like too much realism would have Twilight Sparkle very quickly found out as not a real student at Candlelight High, probably discovered to be homeless or having no background, handed over to the police department, social services, spending a night in the drunk. Before she's put into foster care, at which point evil wins. There's your reality, kids. Evil wins. That's not the movie we've come to see. It does play with, it does have to do with suspension of disbelief, basically. There's not everything that the writer can say, or even needs to be said for the story to take hold. It's one of those weird subjective things where it's like the Mystery Science Theater mantra. At some points, they're fun to think about, but when it comes to using that critique to judge the quality of the actual piece, and sometimes you have to remember it's just a cartoon. You should really just relax. I've got 5 more minutes. If anyone wants to chat some more, okay, I will hang out for a bit further. The next panel's not until 1, so I'm free to hang out, period. On the screen you can see the 3 main modes of me doing anything related to panels at conventions or other nerdy stuff. Again, I am Brian the Fuzzy. Thank you so much for sitting through my hour-long venting spiel. I love this movie, I love this franchise, and I'm enjoying this convention. I hope you are too. Thank you all very much.